Alright guys, so today I'm going to tell you how to become good at YouTube if you're in a position like I am. Now a lot of people they start off as YouTubers, they get very little success. Now I would say if you get like very little success, as in your videos get like 4, 5, 6 views, then I'm going to tell you where you're going wrong. Okay, so I first started YouTube in 2017 on a different channel. It's called Malloy Runner. I was on that channel for 3 years. I had 80 subscribers. So yeah, I made videos there every day, and I felt like I was being consistent with my uploads, and I wasn't getting very much success, and that frustrated me, and I wondered why. All right, so I got fed up, and I started watching YouTube videos on how to become more successful as a YouTuber. And the video said things like use fancy thumbnails, upload your videos to social media, do editing, trim clips, certain clips. Like if you're talking to a camera for 10 minutes and there's a scene in the middle where you stop talking for like 20 seconds to stop to think what you're going to say next, then you have to trim that and buy a better camera and stuff like that. And yeah, I did that and it didn't seem to work. I still seem to be getting the same crappy views. And don't get me wrong, I do think those things help, but that's like the icing on the cake. You need to focus on the basics first. I'm going to talk about that in a minute now. So, I more or less gave up after a while. I was thinking, right, this isn't my thing. But about Christmas time, I think I started the channel in, was it June or July? And by about Christmas time, I kind of gave up and I became a lot less consistent back after that. I might go through a patch where I'm uploading every day for maybe a week or two, but then after that, I just say, it's not my thing, and just give up. That's not a good mentality to have. But I've learned from that mistake. So you know, so yeah, I had 30 subscribers after 3 years. That's 2020. And I still didn't know where I was going wrong. But in 2020, I watched one of Ryan Trahan's videos. Now in if this video was from 2017. It was when Ryan Trahan won the award for valedictorian. Now, valedictorian is an award you get in your last year at school, secondary school, for the best grades. So Trahan got the best grades in his year group. I watched Trahan's videos. Trahan seemed to get a massive subscriber base. He seemed to now he has like nearly, was it 2.5 million, maybe 3 million views, subscribers. I haven't checked in a while. I haven't really been interested in his videos since he quit running, but so I realized that's where I was going wrong. I was the opposite of Ryan Trahan. I was near the bottom of my year group. I got like 195 points in my leaving cert, which is, in a south, considering I went to private schools from the age of 4, that's unheard of, almost. The only person I've ever asked who got less points than me in the leaving cert, there's two people I know who did worse than me in the leaving cert. One guy was from Navan. I worked at a construction site for a week and got fired. He was one of the guys there. He was like a second year apprentice. Another guy I asked was what's his name? A guy I worked at McDonald's. Okay, but he didn't go to private schools. He went to like a place in Blackrock. What's it called? New Park. Yeah. So So I realized that in order for me to improve my YouTube videos, I have to improve my brain. As simple as that. And and I had low IQ at 17. I did an IQ test. I got 70, which means I'm borderline retarded. 98% of the population have a higher IQ than that. That summer, I worked a job washing cars at my local Applegreen, and I got fired on my second day. Do you know what I mean? So normally, if you get fired from a job, it's because you didn't try. People didn't try. They just stood around doing nothing. They maybe stole from the company. Maybe they didn't show up for shifts. It's nearly always, from all my time working at McDonald's, they nearly always seem to get fired for not showing up for shifts. One guy who did show up for shifts got fired for not doing anything. He stood around on the lobby doing nothing all the time, not doing any work. But I actually went out there and did my best and still got fired on my second day. So that's what happens when you have low IQ. It's very difficult. So yeah, none of the YouTube videos mention this, okay? You need to start off with the basics. You need to get good at talking to a camera. That's what I'm doing now. I'm not uploading my videos to social media. I'm not doing fancy thumbnails. I'm not doing editing. None of that crap. I know if I do that, I probably would get more views, more subscribers. But right now, that doesn't bother me at all. I'm just focusing on improving my ability of talking to a camera. Normally I do half an hour a day Yeah, like if I'm not making YouTube videos on a day, it could be just 30 minutes of reading. Um, that might mean reading 20 pages of a book. Do you know what I mean? 20, maybe 25 at the most, you know. That's not a lot. When you're at school, they tell you, oh, study, like, when you're on days off from school, study for 6 hours a day. That's crazy. That would be like reading a whole book. And I can't do that. I tried that for a while, for about a year when I was at school. I just burnt out. And then I gave up. So for my leaving cert, I just, in 6 year, I just gave up. I was like, oh, it's too hard. If I have to put my brain through that kind of pain to be successful, then I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna bother. But looking back, I overdid it. I caused brain damage from all that studying, and I believe I decreased my IQ. You gotta find the right volume. That's very important. And I know 30 minutes, like a lot of like university students would laugh at that, but that's where I'm at now. All right, if I did an hour, I wouldn't benefit. I'd probably benefit a bit in the short term and then burn out. So yeah, you gotta know where you stand. Okay. So yeah, I started questioning those study methods. Yeah, and so I tried doing less. So I tried reading for an hour and a half a day. Sorry, I forgot to mention. Yeah, you might read for half an hour a day, but let's say on a day like today, I wrote 2 pages worth of notes for this video, and that might take say 10, 15 minutes. And then let's say I normally count that as 10 minutes for each A5 page of notes I write. And then the video, let's say that's 10 minutes long, plus the 2 pages of notes, that's 20 minutes. So then all I have to do is another 10 minutes of reading. So that's what I do on the days where I make YouTube videos, but I don't make YouTube videos that often, maybe like twice a week. I find that if I make YouTube videos like every single day, then you kind of burn out. It's kind of hard. You kind of run out of ideas. It becomes kind of difficult. So yeah, so what I did was I started reading for an hour and a half a day. I made progress. I made some progress, but then I plateaued. I cut it down to an hour a day of reading. I made progress, then I started to plateau. Same thing happened when I was doing 45 minutes, and then I eventually cut down to 30 minutes. And to me, that seemed like the right type of volume. And yeah, it's a very low volume, but when you're at a low level, you have to do low volume. Like if you're a 25-minute 5K runner, you can't run 140 miles per week, can you? No, you do less mileage. All right, and that's how you progress, because you can't handle as many miles. You can't handle the volume, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I feel like by doing this, I feel like I've made massive progress in the last few months. My videos, they're a lot better now than they were a few months ago. And don't get me wrong, I still don't think my videos are great. They're not getting any kind of audience, but still, I've improved a lot. I feel like if I just look at my videos from a few months ago, there's a massive difference. All right, if I keep making this progress, well, I will get a big subscriber base eventually. Okay. And eventually I will start editing thumbnails, all that crap. But right now, I just don't think it's worth it. Okay, it's not worth my time. So yeah, I used to be embarrassed looking at my videos from a few months ago. Now I look at my videos with pride. I'm like, Jesus, I'm making so much progress. And yeah, this is where it's at. Okay, that's why a lot of people are really bad at YouTube starting out. You gotta work the brain. Now I think generally most people, they stick to what they're best at. Okay. And they tend to be fairly good starting out, relatively good. So then they don't think about the basics. Do you know what I mean? So they have a high IQ to begin with, so they can make good YouTube videos without working on their brain, and they don't think their brain or IQ has anything to do with their success as a YouTuber, but it's wrong. Alright, there's a guy called Jamie J. Carr. I think he's an Irish YouTuber. Judging by his accent, he's from Dublin. And yeah, he did a live stream one day, and I commented on his live stream, do you need to have a high IQ to be a successful YouTuber? And he said, no, you don't really. But I don't agree with that. I think you need to, at least when it comes to like verbal skills, communication skills, you need to be smart in that regard. If you want to do editing, you need IT skills, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much what it's about, okay? There's more the brain is more important on YouTube than you think it is, okay? And yeah, you gotta take that into consideration, okay? If you have an IQ of 70, you're not gonna make good YouTube videos. Or I think your average 10-year-old has an IQ of 70. So yeah, if you're an adult with an IQ of 70, that's not good. But I believe my IQ has improved quite rapidly. I'd like to think it's at least in the 80s by now, because I just noticed a massive difference. Like McDonald's, working at McDonald's for me used to be very difficult. It used to be head wrecking. My head would be wrecked after every shift. But now I find it a lot easier. And yeah, that's the value of the IQ. You know.